USB Type-A. USB Type-A is the classic rectangular USB port introduced in 1996 to replace older computer connectors. It uses 4 pins to send power and data, which is why keyboards, mice, and flash drives work instantly when plugged in. A cool hidden detail: the metal outer shell touches first to remove static electricity so your device doesn't get damaged. It was also designed tight on purpose, which is why you often flip it before it fits. Another unknown fact: many computers still send power through it even when turned off, so phones can keep charging overnight. Even today, it survives because it's extremely cheap to manufacture and incredibly reliable. USB Type-B. USB Type-B is the chunky square-shaped USB connector mostly found on printers, scanners, audio interfaces, and some older external hard drives. It was created alongside Type-A so devices and computers had different plug shapes, preventing you from accidentally connecting 2 computers together and damaging them. Inside are 4 pins for data and power, but the connector is taller and stronger because cables were expected to stay plugged in for years. A little-known fact: the slanted top corners aren't cosmetic, they guide the plug into alignment to reduce wear on internal pins. Also, many printers keep a tiny memory powered through USB standby power, which is why they remember settings even after unplugging their main cable. USB Type-C. USB Type-C is the modern reversible oval connector designed to replace almost every previous cable. Unlike older USB ports, it can deliver both high-speed data and massive power through the same cable, allowing laptops, phones, monitors, and even gaming consoles to share chargers. Inside are 24 tiny pins that automatically negotiate voltage between devices, which is why the same charger can safely power earbuds or a laptop. A lesser-known detail: the plug contains a tiny chip called an E-marker that tells devices the cable's capabilities. Another hidden feature is alternate mode, letting the port secretly become HDMI or DisplayPort. Because power direction can reverse, phones can charge phones. Mini USB. Mini USB is a smaller version of the original USB connector that became popular in the early 2000s on cameras, MP3 players, and GPS devices before smartphones existed. It kept the same 4 main pins for power and data but added a 5th identification pin, allowing devices to know whether they should act as a host or a peripheral. A hidden detail: that extra pin made early phones capable of reading flash drives years before USBC OTG became common. The trapezoid shape wasn't just style. It prevented incorrect insertion and protected fragile circuits. Engineers rated it for about 5,000 insertions, far less than modern connectors, which is why many old gadgets developed loose charging ports. Micro USB. Micro USB is the tiny flat connector that dominated Android phones from around 2010 before USB-C replaced it. It was designed thinner than Mini USB but far more durable, rated for about 10,000 insertions, because people charged phones daily. Inside are 5 pins, including an ID pin that enabled USB OTG, letting phones read flash drives, keyboards, and even game controllers. A hidden fact: the port's 2 side hooks carry most of the physical stress, not the pins, which is why broken cables are common but phone ports often survive. Another little-known detail: charging speed depended more on cable wiring than the charger itself, since special resistors signaled higher current modes.